Hello. As people come in, we're just make sure everybody's getting in. Thank you so much for joining us today for our Know Before You Go webinar about moving at Indiana University Bloomington. So we're excited to have you all here and to share information about moving. My name is Dr. Vika Bell Robinson, and I have the pleasure and privilege of serving as the Associate Vice Chancellor for Involvement and Belonging in the Office of Student Life. And as a part of the portfolio of the Office of Student Life, we are home to both our Housing Operations and Assignments Office as well as our Department of Residence Life. And so thank you so much for joining today. I'm going to ask my colleagues who have joined this call, who will also be speaking, to briefly introduce themselves, and then we'll go over our time today. So I'm going to ask Troy Wood, if you could please go first.
Thank you. My name is Troy Wood, and I'm Assistant Director in Residence Life, so I oversee the southeast buildings of our residence centers.
Great. Thanks, Troy. And then Jocelyn Mall.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jocelyn Mall, and I'm the Director of Housing Operations and Assignments, who you've been working for and with as you prepare to arrive on campus.
Great. Thank you, Jocelyn. And so we have, of course, Troy and Jocelyn and I are going to be sort of the face of today's webinar, but we have a whole host of colleagues from across campus here to help support it. So there is a Q&A feature if we invite your questions, and there are colleagues on the back end that can answer your questions. So we invite those questions. We also of course, you know that there is a move-in website, and so that's a great place for resources as well. This webinar is being recorded, and so we will post it once it's all captioned appropriately for online consumption. We'll go ahead and go to the next slide. So just to give you an overview of the time, how we're going to spend our time today, we'll talk a little bit about things that you should do before you arrive. We know that some of you may be experiencing or participating in our early move-in, so we want to pay a little bit of attention to that. Of course, most of you will be participating in our grand move-in experience, so we'll spend a bunch of time on that, including where to go, unload and go, and parking, and then just some general reminders. We'll also have an opportunity for some Q&A at the end of our time together today. Okay, so there are some things that will help tremendously if you do them before you come to Bloomington. It's really important that you review what to pack and what not to pack and any prohibited items. It's a big lift to move to campus, and the last thing we want you to do is bring things that you can't have on campus and then have to send them back home, or to ship them here and then have to send them back home. So make sure that you're reviewing what to pack, what not to pack, and any prohibited items. As a general rule, if a student is not currently using something at home, they probably don't need to bring it to school. So sometimes I think parents are like, oh, you'll need oatmeal. It's like, I never eat oatmeal. Do not send oatmeal. If they do not eat oatmeal right now, they are not going to eat it here. Do not send oatmeal. So really think about what you want to bring to school. So all of our first year students have received an email related to our entering student survey. We want all of our students to complete that survey. So before you come to Bloomington, we would be really grateful if you complete that entering student survey. It's an important part of your IU Bloomington experience, and completing it before you arrive is much appreciated. It's really, really important that students set up their Crimson card and add it to their mobile wallet. It should be set up on their device, their devices, whether that's a watch and a phone, but it should be on theirs, not on a family member's, not on the account holders, but on the student's actual device, and add it to their wallet. This is a major hurdle that students find when they come for move-in if they have not already set it up. So we want to encourage you to or tell you to set it up so that you're all set and ready to go when you come on move-in day. It's important that students are logging into their housing information area and looking specifically for their move-in date and their appointment time in the housing portal. We have lots of people, 13,000 people will be moving into our campus over the course of the next several weeks, most of them on grand move-in day. And it's really important that we're all working together to make sure there's enough time and space for people to move in. And that means we need people to stick to their move-in day and move-in time. We really encourage, if many of you, if not all of you, have been to IU Bloomington and seen the sort of the majesty of our campus, you know that we have some pretty tall buildings, and every one of those rooms right now, a good majority of them are totally empty, which means a good majority of them are going to be completely full. That's a lot of people and belongings moving in. We really encourage you to use our Ship to School program. We're working with this vendor, Guys and Dollies, to do Ship to School. And what that means is that you, as long as you've signed up by August 10th, they'll be able to receive your items, and then they will bring them and put them in your room. So when you come and everybody else is pulling carts or figuring out how to put stuff on their bodies and carry it upstairs, it'll already be in your space. And so we really want to encourage as many students and families as possible to use our Ship to School program. It's important that you plan your travel route in advance, and remember that the Bloomington and campus will be especially busy. A little note to our alumni and other folks who are familiar with Bloomington and our campus: the roads do different things on our move-in days. So you're like, oh no, I know how to get there. You might find that the way you're used to going is not actually the available way that particular day. We can go ahead, turn it over to
Yeah.
Jocelyn.
Yeah, I would say pay special attention to those one-way streets in Bloomington too. So thanks, Vika. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our early move-in options that we have for very specific groups of students. So our early move-in is an opportunity for students to come into campus early, get settled directly into your fall space. These start to begin on August 4th. Our most common students who arrive early are our upperclassmen who maybe live in our furnished apartments or unfurnished apartments. And we have sponsored groups. So this might be students who are participating in Marching 100. They come here early to prepare for our football festivities and do some practice and band camp, essentially. Or we have a number of specific learning communities who are able to move in early as well. You should be checking your email. If you're part of one of these learning communities, you may have that option to move in. There's some of you that are even going to have the option to move in on Monday the 17th and be our trial run for our Assembly Hall Grand Move-In. So please check your email if that applies to you. And you should see these options in your move-in time slot appointments. So you should be going to your housing portal. As Vika mentioned, you can see your housing assignment and your roommate information if that applies to you. But it also shows your move-in time slot. If you haven't selected a time slot, you should do so and be sure to see those early arrival groups. If they're available to you, it will be visible on the bottom of the page. If you think you're in one and you don't see one, shoot us a quick email at housing@iu.edu. Our early arrival all takes place in one location between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. Your time slot is for a half day, and our goal is that you really arrive to our main IU housing office in the Nelson building during your time slot. So just like your move-in days at Assembly Hall, coming between that 4 to noon or noon to 4 time slot. You will also need to have your Crimson card ready on your phone for early arrival, and there is a cost associated with early arrival to campus. Your fall housing contract starts on August 18th, so this just covers the costs of living here and as well as a meal plan for your early arrival dates. Depending on your sponsored group, it might be covered or it might come straight to your IU student bursar bill. One thing to pay attention to is parking as you're here for early move-in. So free parking is available in the ST spaces along Eagleson or the CH spaces. ST generally stands for student or stadium. I'm actually not sure which, but campus housing is the CH ones that are going to be closer to your residence hall. There are limited short-term paid parking on Law Lane, as well as that Park Mobile app. If you have a car in Bloomington, you maybe have seen that. But that Park Mobile app is essentially an app that helps you pay for short-term parking as well. So again, that early move-in is for special groups and at 801 North Eagleson.
Great. So we're going to talk about Grand Move-In. So on August 18th and 19th, we expect approximately 11,000 students to be moving in between those 2 days. If you can imagine, 11,000 people is a lot of people. And so we're working really hard to make sure that we are organized and ready to receive students and families as they come to Bloomington and join the campus community. All of our move-in for the 18th and 19th will be held at the Simon Scott Assembly Hall. It is really important that you arrive during your assigned move-in appointment window. The reason why we have sign up is so that we can expect and be ready for that particular amount of students in that particular time period, both at Simon Scott as well as the residence halls and apartments throughout campus. So it's really important that you come during your assigned move-in time and your assigned move-in day. You can see that again, we're going to be at the Simon Scott Assembly Hall, and that is where basketball occurs. If you're like, I don't know what that building is, that's where basketball occurs. Students should bring their Crimson Card on their mobile device. Our colleagues that work with our Crimson Card process would say it's important today, like right now, to make sure that you're taking a picture and then you're getting your picture set up for your Crimson Card. Sometimes families and students come and they're like, oh, I did it on the way down. That's not enough time for the technology to actually convert so that your Crimson Card is available. So it needs to be done minimally 48 hours before you come to campus. So we really need you to do that. Only students will come into Simon Scott. It's a way to make sure that we're controlling the flow of traffic. Again, if we had families and students coming in, it just creates a lot of congestion. There will be lots of opportunities and lots of experiences for families and family supporters or student supporters to be outside and to engage in things. There's opportunities for restrooms and things like that. But for the actual check-in process, only the student will be able to come through Simon Scott. Students will receive their unload and go parking permit during check-in. So again, as a way to coordinate our traffic flow, our parking flow, students are given a specific unload and go parking permit for the 18th and 19th that will allow us to keep control of traffic and make sure that we have a safe and healthy move in for everyone. If you do not have your Crimson Card set up, temporary cards will be available. We're really working hard to make sure that Crimson Cards are set up. That way you're all set when you come to check in, and then it works where it needs to work for not just move in, but for every place else you need it on campus.
Okay. So after you're at Simon Scott Assembly Hall, you will be going to your residence hall. I can't stress enough how important it is to look at the move-in website. There's all kinds of information there, frequently asked questions. It's got a place where you can click on your center and it tells you where your unload and go areas are. So really, if you haven't spent 10 or 15 minutes with that website, it will help you out immensely. So when you get to your residence hall, there'll be some unload and go signs around the building. So you'll look for those as far as the unload and go, and those are also listed on your center specific link on the website. So, and then all the residence halls are listed on there, and the addresses are there too, in case you want to add those in to your phone. Yeah. Okay, so unload and go is the theme when you're coming to campus, okay? And basically what that means is we need you to unload your items, have someone stay with them, and then someone needs to move the car. If you've been on campus, you know we don't have millions of parking spots. It may seem that way. But if people unload and then stay there all day, everybody that comes in after them doesn't have a place to go. So we really have worked hard to come up with a really good plan for people to move those, okay? And when people are unloading, what you need to do is also have someone stay with the car at all times in case it needs to be moved. The reason you check in at Simon Scott Assembly Hall is because you can go directly to your space. You don't have to go to the center desk unless you're one of the few buildings that we have left to get a key or something like that. So that's there to provide convenience for you. So once unloading, someone needs to move the vehicle, and there's about 6 or 7 places that people can move those to for the rest of the day. And I'll talk a little bit about shuttles here in a little bit, but we'll get that going. So we'll have volunteers in around the centers. We'll also have some security people to be able to assist, help out where people are going. So, okay. So in regards to here, this is the shuttle route that we will run during the move-in days. There's about 8 spots, and there'll be big flags, and so you'll be able to see them. They're about 15 foot tall, and the shuttle buses will be running through there. So you could walk back to some of your areas. There's 6 or 7 places, like I said, and it's all on the website. So you can find a place close to your building. We're using the tailgate lots for these areas. We're using assembly hall or athletics parking, things along those lines, some of the parking garages on campus. So the shuttle routes will operate through, and I believe they're having 6 shuttles that they're going to be running all day. So that's what we're really asking people to do, because again, if you've got an early check-in time and you don't move your vehicle, the people that have a later check-in time are not going to have anywhere to go, and that's not really fair. So, all right. So Additional information is we're not going to be giving packages out on the 18th or 19th. The reason for that is our centers are extremely busy, and also too, we're asking our mail carriers and our package people not to deliver on campus because it's just so congested. So if you need something like that, you need to use ship to school or bring that with you. If you ride to Assembly Hall and like through a shuttle or something like that from the airport, there'll be a place at the front where you can check your bag so you don't have to walk all the way through there. And then we'll also offer some shuttles for people to make sure that they can get to the centers. So, and if students are bringing cars, this is very important too. They can't leave them around the residence halls. They need to move them over to the athletic lots, and then they can move those back starting at 8 a.m. on Thursday, August 20th, because if not, we could have dozens of people move into those spaces that we just wouldn't have available. So that's going to make everybody much more happier.
So yay, you're here. We're very excited. We're very excited that you're coming. You're very excited that we'll be so here and everybody's going to be here and all moved in. And after you move in, then really the real college experience starts. So we want you to take time to get settled in your room, meet your roommates, your suite mates, your neighbors. It's really important that you attend your residence hall floor meeting on the evening of August 19th, and then start exploring campus and of course participate in our Hoosier Welcome programs and events. This is a great opportunity, a great time to get to know your fellow Hoosiers. Everybody's coming in, everybody's a bit new, and there's lots of great planned opportunities and activities for you to get to know campus and get to know your classmates. We ask that students are moved in, so new students should plan to be moved in by the evening of August 19th. So there might be someone on this call who are like, I'm just going to wait. By the evening of August 19th, we expect all of our first year students to be moved in so that they can really get engaged in the Hoosier Welcome experience and get to know again campus as well as their classmates.
Yeah, tips and tricks and reminders. So it is August in Indiana. So be prepared for maybe a bottle of water. A little extra patience is always helpful. I always say you got to put on your patient pants as all of our students are moving to a new home or returning to their home in Bloomington. We encourage folks to pack things that are stackable. So think of boxes or bins as opposed to the old classic garbage bag full of clothing. So things that are easily packable onto carts or a hand dolly. Do if you have one of those at your home or in your garage or shed. I would encourage you to bring that as well, as our carts are in a high demand these few days. One thing too is while most of our facilities have elevators, not all of them do. So be prepared to carry things upstairs, wear comfortable shoes, and things that are able to help you safely navigate the hallways and the stairwells while carrying items as well. We talk about a big transition moment. So one, it is a busy day, but also take a moment to reflect on your new journey you have here with your family, with your support systems, and with your new community around you. And so a lot of new things are happening at move-in, and it can be stressful. And sometimes taking a moment to yourself, bring a couple extra snacks or bottles of water and have those ready in the car for you when you need them. There's nothing worse than getting to your room, getting settled, and you can't find where you stashed your water bottles. And so have that ready and really be prepared to do a little bit of heavy lifting to get yourself settled, but also take the time to appreciate the moment you're having here with your family and new to your campus home. And so a couple key reminders we have. So really be sure you're arriving during your allotted time slot. And so this helps us decongest the rest of campus. So while Assembly Hall is very structured and systematic, the rest of campus can get a little chaotic. And so we want to slow down traffic to ensure we are spreading our congestion times out throughout the day. So our goal is to spread it evenly. And so really arriving during your window is really important. There's a lot of great spots in Bloomington. If you are maybe get here a little earlier than expected, visiting some of our great local restaurants and shops to take a breather, grab a smoothie, grab a cup of coffee before you come in and arrive during your window is really important. For those big grand move-in days, you're going to arrive straight to Assembly Hall first. That is your first stop. This might be in a caravan with your family and support systems, and this might be in a ride share as well too. So if you're taking a Lyft or an Uber from the airport or from a friend's house, you can be dropped off directly at Assembly Hall in that ride share option. You want to do keep an eye on your car and your vehicles. And so I always tell students, think backpack, not U-Haul. So as Vika mentioned, if you don't eat oatmeal every day, don't pack oatmeal. It's okay. You can buy oatmeal here in Bloomington. And so be efficient in your packing, but also efficient in the unpacking of your vehicle. So let's park your car in those unload and go zones, unload quickly, move your car out of the way, and let others come in behind you too. So these steps all really help us have a smoother move in, take our time, ensure that everyone has the same chance to get into their space and feel settled, and really have a smooth transition in. And we've seen some questions coming in the Q&A, and we know we are throwing a lot of information at you in a short amount of time. We've referenced our website for resources. We'll post this video again too. Be sure you're checking your IU emails and actually reading those emails that are coming to you and those reminders as they're coming out. There are still a lot of students who have not set up their move-in appointment time, so get that on the books with us through the housing portal, and that Crimson card are some of your two biggest steps. So we want to be sure we're welcoming you promptly and efficiently. So between your move-in time slot and the Crimson card, we'll get to smooth sailing when you arrive to Assembly Hall. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Vika for any question answers. Troy, I did see some questions about packages and package pickup during move-in, and wanted to reiterate ship to school one more time too.
Yeah, that's pretty important, and we're looking at if they can get things by August 9th is the deadline they'd really like to have, because they'll put stuff in rooms that following week. So if we can push that, for sure, that'd be great.
Great. So thank you so much, Troy and Jocelyn, for talking about the information as a part of our webinar. We do have some time for some question and answer. And so I'm just going to go to some of the questions that I can see in the Q&A. There's a question on here about the unload and go spot. So the unload and go spot is close to the dorm, and then you park your car in the lot where you set up your room. The web makes it seem like you park in the lot and the golf cart takes you. Troy, can you answer that question, please?
Sure. Yeah. We do have some golf carts, and we do have some movers that are located on campus, but we can't, like, some of our buildings just aren't set up for golf carts. So we'll have golf carts for Union Street, Eigenman, McNutt, Walnut Grove, Briscoe, Spruce. And those locations are on them, like, they'll kind of tell you where those are as far as unloading. They'll be able to pick you up, and then our circle drives on those buildings are actually closed, so we can get golf carts up there. So really, so much of your move in is really center specific. So it's really important to look on the website and see what the center says. And then also too, we have movers. It's not like, we don't have a mover for every 1,000 people that are in Eigenman, but we have them there for 2 days, and they help several hundred of our students get things in. And we have those at Eigenman, Forest, McNutt, Teeter, Ashton, Foster, Walnut Grove, and Wright. So we don't have them everywhere, but we have them where we feel like we can best use them. So
Thanks, Troy. There's another question in here that says, so I cannot have items delivered or scheduled to be delivered via Amazon on our move-in day. No, you should not have items scheduled to be delivered on your move-in day. And the part of the reason why we're pushing ship to school, we're having webinars, we had ship to school things in the rooms at orientation, is because we will not be accepting packages on move-in day. It creates a too much density. And then imagine, if you will, I think Troy just used Eigenman Hall as an example. So if every student in Eigenman sends just 3 packages, packages to Eigenman for a move-in a day, that is going to be, 30,000 packages, something like that, to Eigenman, 3,000 packages to Eigenman. And you think about the sort of everyone's like 30,000, what's that girl's math? Anyway, you think about what's, then it has to be logged. It has to be, you have to get the communication for it. Then you have to go to the front desk. They have to find it. They have to give it to you. It's a recipe for frustration for anybody who is waiting for sheets or clothing or something to have that happen on that day. And so we are not accepting packages. We're really encouraging ship to school. Ship to school, your items will be in your room when you arrive. And so that is our preferred way to have items arrive for the beginning of the school year. We did a staggered time for bringing belongings. Can one student go up to the room and for layout, or can they only do that if they have signed up for the same time? They can only do that if they have signed up for the same block. Because again, if we think about the sort of the girth of our campus, 13,000 people, every individual student needs to sign up for their own move-in time. And that's so that we can manage the density of campus, that we can manage the density in the residence halls, so everybody needs to come during that window. Now that's if you can coordinate with your roommate to come in the same window, that's great. But if one person is signed up for, let's say, the 18th, and the other person is signed up for the 19th, the person that is signed up for the 19th cannot come on the 18th because, hey, my roommate is already here. It's why we have sign up times and sign up days to make sure that we can manage the density of campus. And we really do. We appreciate your support in that. I will read the next one. It says, my husband will be coming to help our daughter move in. However, he had a stroke and ambulates slowly with a cane. Do we have accommodations to assist with move-in and parking? I think, Troy, you're probably best situated to answer this question.
Yeah, like I said, we have movers at those certain buildings and we have golf carts at those certain buildings to be able to help with that. So I think, like the big thing for us is, people can bring people to kind of help with that too, but we have certain places where we have extra support just because it's mostly our high rises or our buildings that are really spread out, where it takes a little bit to get to. So it depends on what building you're in, things along those lines. But if you feel like you need to bring additional people, I think you can definitely do that. It's just that we really just want one car on campus to be able to do that. And then with the unload and go, we do have that shuttle that goes around. People can pick what areas they want to, as far as, some of them, if you're in the Northwest, you might just move over to the athletic lot, or you might move behind Foster. It's just whatever's closest. So you really kind of have to look and see what meets your needs on that.
Great. Thanks, Troy. I know that several of our team members are in the background answering questions, and so we will end the webinar here in a few minutes, but I want to give those folks an opportunity to try to respond to some of the questions that have been asked. In the meantime, I will ask a question that was asked. So our slide said, bring bags, and then our words say bring boxes, and that was just a human error. So we are recommending that you move in bags and not boxes or bins. It makes it easier. So I just had a student move out, and I was sort of assisting her with her move out, and she had move in and move out bags, and then we could sort of wear them, we could carry them differently, they stack better in the bins. And so we are actually encouraging that you move in bags and not in boxes or bins. And for those of us who maybe were in college a while ago, like myself, bins and boxes were the way to do it. Today we find that it is much better and much easier to move in bags. And you can generally find those, wherever you choose to do your shopping. But we are recommending bags and not boxes or bins.
Thank you, Vika. I will add to that, don't make them too heavy, right, as well. So while I might go for boxes myself, but yeah, something that's easy to carry, manageable is what's important.
Great. Well, I am going to, what we will continue to do is look at these questions and try to answer as many as we can. I'll give it, maybe we'll do like one or two more. My friends and colleagues in the background, if you could try to maybe tag one or two more, or try to answer those on before we end the webinar. We will end the webinar in just a few minutes. Let me see if there are any others that are not currently being addressed. So, and so somebody asked earlier about a later move-in question because they may not be able to move it until near the end of the month. What we do want is for the student to come with as many things as you feel like you need for those first couple of days. And then if the rest of your belongings come later, certainly that is always an option. So I would bring things depending on what we're talking about in terms of the end of the month, things for the first week of class, items that you might need. If you think about, okay, I'm going on a trip as opposed to moving into a residence hall, maybe bringing the things that you would take on a trip. And then when the rest of your stuff comes after the move-in day, that's completely fine. If there I see a question about can I come at a particular time, I'm going to ask that we direct those questions to housing@iu.edu. That's the best place to get those questions, those type of specific questions answered. Anything related to your housing assignment specifically, or a room or whatever, those questions being directed to housing@iu.edu is the best way to get those questions answered. All right, friends, what we'll do is I'm going to go ahead and end our webinar. So we really do want to thank you for spending time with us today. We are here to not only in IU Housing, but as well in the Office of Student Life, and really the entire Indiana University Bloomington community is excited about you coming to the campus community. We're eager to meet you and eager to help your transition be a smooth one. So I definitely want to thank you for joining us. Thank you to Troy and to Jocelyn for spending time answering questions. We are here to help you be successful. I'm going to go ahead and ask that we end our webinar. So thank you so much, and we'll see you in Bloomington in late August. Take care, everyone.